Game 2 of the Ashes is over, and we all know that Australia have won, and it's been pretty convincing so far. The Ashes series is not quite done. We've got one game left, but realistically, with Australia winning the first 2 games, and quite convincingly so, it's looking like they win their third, and even if they don't, that's the competition's theirs. But overall, I'm so glad to see the Ashes back. And today I thought I'd just drop a little video but kind of just going through kind of my post-match reaction on the second game, and of course just going through what I've thought about the Ashes as a whole, realistically. I've got the matchday squad up next to me. I'm just kind of going to talk through that as well, where I think possibly we went wrong, and potentially maybe anything that could be changed for the third game if it all matters. I think one of the main things was the introduction of AJ Brimson. Kind of just didn't pan out exactly how we wanted it to, realistically. So Wells being the first game didn't perform to anywhere near the standards. Both Australian fans and English fans totally agreed on that case, and everybody said he needed to be dropped. And I think that was fine. I think everybody was fine with him being dropped. It's just a shame Brimson couldn't really gel with the team, didn't really step up. Don't know whether that was just down to, a big part of it was probably down to the fact that England's spine just couldn't really click in either the first or the second game of the Ashes, and I think that's kind of been one of the biggest problems. I think second game of the Ashes, first half, pretty good from England. Super physical, super rough. I thought Morgan Knowles was absolutely incredible, which he's going to the Dolphins next year, so that's going to be absolutely nuts. And a shame we've lost another good player there. I thought Morgan Smithies played particularly well, and I thought the forwards overall were really dominant and quite disruptive. I'd say, particularly playing such a high calibre of Australia. And then it just kind of all seemed to fall apart in the second half. We just couldn't get anything going in attack. England had plenty of opportunities, and I think that's been the running theme in the Ashes series. England have had opportunities, and they've just not reacted well on them, or they've not been able to finish anything. We've seen Williams literally just take it to the line, either hit someone on a short suicide ball, I call it, where they're just getting absolutely pulverised, or throwing it out to the wingers where there isn't even an overlap and going, go on, try and do something with that. I mean, poor Johnston that game, probably not his best performance, but the amount of ball that he was getting where it was just like, okay, try and do something with this ball, see what you can do. There's a few people saying Burgess potentially should have gone in over Johnston, which, to be honest, maybe so. You could argue, they're a similar age, they're both pretty good calibre players. I didn't think Johnston was particularly bad, and you could have argued Burgess was more on form. So I kind of see why people have been saying that, but I don't think it would have changed much, to be honest. I think a big thing about this Ashes series was the inclusion of Williams. So with Sean Wayne coaching, he'd had Williams named as captain from the start, and I think personally that's kind of where things just went wrong. I always thought it was going to be Harry Smith and Mikey Lewis in the halves, to be perfectly honest, and even in that second game I was surprised that I was fine with the fact that Mikey was on the bench, but I just thought when he got introduced, not at 9 for Litton, because I thought Litton's been one of our better players in the series, I thought he was going to go on for Williams, and that might have given us a bit more magic. We know Mikey in games can do some really good stuff, don't get me wrong. He's been known to disappear in big games, but I think particularly chucking him on 20 to go at 9, just he was never going to do anything realistically. And I thought maybe 10 minutes into the second half, when things were unravelling, maybe it was Williams off and we could have probably capitalised a bit better. I don't think Sean Wayne will coach England again, to be perfectly honest. I think it is time the mantle is passed on to somebody else, and I think there will be a very different squad. Obviously, big controversy was Jake Connor not getting picked for this squad, and that was absolutely massive. Would anything have been different? We'll never know. It's one of them. I mean, it's hard to say, but I think what we would have known is that as attack, we might have tried or played a bit more off the cuff rugby. The ruck speed was a bit slow. Getting the ball out, by the time we'd got it out to his wingers, they were just closed down. There was nothing they could do at all, to be perfectly fair to them. Callum Watkins was the absolute dark horse of this Ashes series, and potentially you can look and go, maybe he should have played the first one. When they included him for the second one, I was shocked. I was like, really? Because I think Watkins is he's 33, 34 years old. But to be honest, he was one of the better players on the field. So fair play to the guy. Like he's still absolutely killing it at the highest level. He was breaking tackles. He was solid defensively. So that was just really good to see. I think Kai Pearce-Paul receives quite a bit of criticism just because he's a bit vacant at times. I think he's a quality player. He's solid. There were probably a few instances in the game where he doesn't inject himself, but I don't know whether he's that type of player. So he's he's a good player. His quality is reliable, but is he that X factor that's going to win you the game? I don't know, but not every player needs to be that, and not every player is that. So Herbie Farnworth, probably one of our best players realistically. The amount of pressure that was put on him to perform for England was nuts, and I didn't think he was going to live up to it. And to be honest, he did really, really well. Anytime he got, a half a chance, you could just tell he was just causing some issues. But we just didn't get him enough ball in the right places. I mean, it's okay tipping him 40 out and going, go on Herbie, try and score from here. But overall, I think it'll be interesting to see what the third game brings, even though it's kind of dead rubber. It doesn't matter anything, but hopefully England can build on it, and hopefully the Ashes can continue, seeing I think it's really, really good for the sport. And I'm just excited to hear what everybody else thinks, what everybody thinks the next England squad should look like. I guess we'll have a clearer picture of that next season. See the Super League's expanding, and I think it's going to be really interesting, and hopefully we get a team that's a little bit more in form, and hopefully we can keep chasing the standard that Australia have set. There's no shame losing to Australia. They've been the best in the world for as long as I've been alive and longer, and they will probably continue to do so. So it's good to just keep chasing that as a marker for what is good rugby league. But if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. If you can drop me a like, that absolutely helps me out massively, pushes the content out. And if you drop a subscribe, then you can see when I next upload. I'll be dropping tons of rugby league content coming up. Cheers.